One of the most vital roles on set is an assistant camera. There are so many tasks that are important for an assistant camera to know, so many pieces of equipment that can help, and just some on-set behavior that I've found work for me over the years. And today I'm going to be going through all of those things and really give a broad overview of what an assistant camera is and what you're tending to do on set. So it all starts from pre-production, and an AC is not immune to the effects of what pre-production really means to a full overall production. So you're going to want to make sure that you have the right codecs, the right frame rates, the right resolutions from your director, producer, DP. You want to make sure that you have all of those things covered. In addition to that, you're going to want to make sure that you can get a prep day, whether you're going to a rental house to make sure that everything works there, or whether you're working with, on some smaller productions, people around you that are providing their own equipment. You want to make sure that you can get a prep day to ensure that everything's going to work, all of it's compatible with each other, and if you need to pick up, your odds and ends, you can do that in time to make sure that you're ready for shoot day. Another great piece of advice is to make sure that you can try your best to get a shot list. I always love to prepare as much as I can mentally the night before, especially, and kind of just run through that shot list in my head and kind of see, okay, what movements can I try and anticipate that might be happening? Where am I going to be making sure that I need to get my focus locked off on? Any blocking that you can kind of assume or at least get close to beforehand, that when you get to set, you can say, okay, I saw this on the shot list, the character's moving from this point to this point. Can I just make a measurement real quick before we get that shot off? It's really our jobs as AC to make sure that we're a step ahead of production. So we need to be anticipating lens changes. We need to be making sure that we're blocking ahead of time. And this can be split between first and second AC, but they're all great important things to have kind of as a skill set when you're on set. So you've heard me talk about first and second AC. So I'm just going to really quickly give a broad sense of what those differences might be. So your first AC is typically going to be the one that's going to be doing the focus pulling. They're going to be handling a lot of the equipment itself on the camera. They're going to be making sure that all of your lenses are good to go, your camera settings are square. All of those things are typically going to be under the guise of a first AC. Now, if you have the opportunity to have a second AC, they can be doing a lot of the slating. They can be getting your marks. They can be working on some of those blocks while you're maybe working on switching out a lens. They can be kind of assisting you in just reducing time to shoot. The last thing that we want to be doing is having anybody wait on camera, and when you can work together with a great second AC to kind of work on, just handling some of those time sync tasks, and then they can come to you with all the information that you need. You can get it ready on your focus motor and you're good to go. So now you've arrived on set, and what I love to do right away is make sure that the camera is ready to go. I like to make sure that I can hand it off to the camera op or the DP, and they can kind of do some blocking of their own, kind of just visualize where shots are going to land. I also like to make sure that I can right away get monitors set up in Video Village, whether the art department needs a monitor. I love to make sure that the director's monitor is ready to go. My monitor for pulling focus is ready to go, making sure that everybody that needs some sort of a viewing for the shot has it and is ready to go. Batteries are on it, all is set. Another important thing is to make sure all the transmission systems are working, whether you're working with the Teradek system or we use an Xsoon system from time to time as well. Just making sure that you're knowledgeable on how to troubleshoot those things, because something's always going to go wrong and you got to be ready to handle those changes. And another great thing that I love to try and do is build a rapport with whoever's operating the camera. I like to anticipate their movements, and even if they're doing a few dry runs or we're blocking for talent, that I'm also doing my focus pulling along with them. I want to know what tendencies they tend to have if they're moving forward, back, or with their body. I got to make sure that I'm in tune with whatever they're going to be doing, because at the end of the day, it's my job to make sure, no matter what, that that's in focus. Now, obviously, there are going to be bigger sets where you can block out everything. It's going to be pretty robotic. You're going to have your same moves from shot to shot, but there are going to be a lot of times where you're going to be having somebody with some action, and it's going to land differently on the frame every single time. So just anticipating that as best as you can, really using your peripheral vision, is a great asset for a lot of productions. So one of the most important jobs of an AC is focus pulling. And I think the beautiful thing about that is a lot of people, when they see the final product and they aren't really in that filmmaking world, don't necessarily know that there's somebody behind the scenes doing the actual focus. They think, oh, it's autofocus, or sometimes just that magic makes it in focus. But really, it's an integral part of a production. And what I like to do is make sure that my monitor is ready to go. I like to make sure that I have all of my settings dialed in. If I'm gonna be working on scenes that have a specific color palette, I always like to make sure that I've got my peaking color set to contrast it. So when I'm pulling focus and I'm using peaking to make sure that I'm in focus, it's contrasting and not blending in, and I'm not gonna be missing focus just by a hair, especially, you know, you've got a red background and you're using red peaking is kind of the most common color. You know, I'll switch it to green to make sure that I'm doing as much contrast as possible to really ensure that I'm locking focus every single time. A lot of it is really just being vocal as well. If you know that you missed it, just say, hey, that's on me. Can we do one more for focus, one more for safety? Being vocal and building that rapport with your production team is vital, because, you know, if you're working hard and they see that you're making a lot, but you just miss a lot of just every so often a quick small shot, asking for just a redo on your end is never a bad thing. I like to make sure that I'm as vocal as I can. If I know that my camera operator is going to audition something for a close-up, I like to make sure I can give them minimum focus, let them know, hey, just so you can see it, this is where minimum is. They can get their distance from that without having to necessarily measure, even though that might be best practice. But if we're in a pinch and we need to just make sure that we can get that minimum distance, just some things that I like to do and just vocalize as much as I can with the rest of the camera team to make sure that everybody's on the same page, and that when we hit record, we can make the shot happen great the first time. So I hope that this broad overview, and I want to emphasize broad overview, gives you an idea of what the role is of a first AC and how you can maybe kind of grab some things to get started on your own. I can go deeper into specific topics. If there is something that you're looking to know more specifically about, leave me a comment and I'll definitely be making another video about it in the future. But for now, thank you so much for watching this wonderful deep dive into what it is to be my favorite role on set, an assistant camera. Don't forget to like and subscribe. That helps a lot. We're really enjoying being back into the full swing of YouTube, and we hope that you're enjoying the journey with us. So until next time, thanks for watching.